Hi everyone. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Preston. I've been trying to live my life 28 days at a time, spending 28 days in different cities. So one of those cities was Seville, Spain. Today, I'm going to tell you about my top 10 favorite things about Seville. Number 10, the Cathedral of Seville. Like a lot of churches in Spain, it was once a mosque. It was built from 1401 to 1528, so that's a long time. But it became the biggest cathedral in the entire world up until the building of St. Peter's in Rome. It was built to show off the wealth and power of what was arguably at the time the most powerful and important city in the entire world. It's still the world's largest Gothic style cathedral, and one of the coolest things about that place, aside from its absolute enormity, is the fact that you can go up the tower, the Giralda Tower, and get a great view of the city. It is gorgeous, it is huge, and it's the center point of an amazing city. Number 9, the Guadalquivir River. The river creates a very, very cool spot to hang out on a nice day. You can walk the river, you can hang out, do a picnic lunch, or check out the scenery. The river runs right through the city. In fact, it was the border of the historic city and then the outskirts of what would become like the suburbs of Seville, including the cool neighborhood of Triana, which was built by refugees and sailors on the other side of the river because they weren't allowed to hang out in the city. That evolved into one of the coolest, hippest neighborhoods that you see today. The river is navigable right up until Seville. It used to be navigable all the way to Cordoba. And that's why all of the goods and customs and everything that the Spanish Empire brought into Spain came right through Seville. And now it's just a beautiful spot to take a bike ride or maybe a scooter. Number 8, La Plaza de España. It was built in 1924 for the Iberian Conference. And everybody thinks it's a really, really old place because of the architectural style that's on display. But it's really not that old, relatively speaking. They did want to focus on what Seville's architecture kind of looked like, and that's why there's a combination of Baroque, Renaissance, and Moorish revival situated in this huge, huge square. It's an amazing place where you can hang out, walk around, take in a flamenco dance or some busking singers, that kind of thing. Or even you can row the moat that surrounds the main square. Fun fact, because of the beauty of that place, they've used it in a lot of films to create some kind of exotic locale, namely the Star Wars prequels. Number 7, smoked paprika. So here's the thing. When you get into Seville, you will start to smell some of the food that is cooking. And there's going to be a unique smell. And what that is, smoked paprika. It's a spice, and it's their secret spice, and it's in everything. They put it in paella and other dishes to make it taste very, very unique to that area. I had no idea what it was. I kept smelling it until I took a cooking class. And then, as soon as I discovered what that secret ingredient was, I started to put it in everything. Every time I cooked, no matter what it was, had an ample amount of smoked paprika. Do yourself a favor, get some, pick some up, smell it, use it in your food. You will not regret it. And of course, you want to make sure that you grab some and bring some home with you. Number 6, the beautiful buildings. Oh my God. You got to wander around this city. Not just the churches, but the houses and the apartments. What you want to do is wander through the alleyways and really check things out. But what you really want to do is you want to make sure to keep looking up. Another fun fact is that they decorate the bottoms of their balconies. And there's no reason for them to do it for themselves. That's just for you to look up and see those beautiful tiles. And specifically with the very Seville style tiles that you'll see everywhere. An added bonus. Number 5 is the food. From jamón to churros to paellas and even the empanadas that they import. All marvelous. You have to try it. It's amazing. But don't forget about all the local source seafood and all the fresh fruits and vegetables and meats at the market. It's an amazing place. All the food is local and fresh and just absolutely delicious. It won't matter whether you're cooking for yourself or you're going out, you're going to be eating some pretty delicious food. And don't forget to try some of the unique and exotic options. Why not take a food tour? You will not regret it. In fact, I'd suggest you take what they call an ugly food tour. You're going to experience some kind of exotic ingredients and some parts of the animal that you might not think are as delicious as they can be the way they cook them. If you're game for it, it is a very unique experience. Number 4 is the museums. There are a lot of museums, as you would understand in Seville, because of all the history and culture that they have there. Of particular note is the Museum of Fine Arts. It only costs €1.50 to get in, and it is amazing. Filled with artists from the Renaissance up until modern day, some of whom I am embarrassed to say I hadn't heard of, but I'm really looking forward to learning more about them. It's an amazing building, and you'll get to see some amazing art. And that's not the only museum that's cheap. The Torre d'Or was also about €1.50, and they have a naval museum right inside of it as you walk through the tower. And then, of course, you get a cool view of the city when you get up there. And, of course, I was shocked to learn that both the Military Museum and the Indian Archives are both free. Number 3, Seville is a bit of a travel hub. It's very, very close to a lot of great cities, about an hour's train ride away. We're talking about Malaga, Ronda, Huelva, Granada, all within about an hour's train ride. I was able to get to Cordoba with its amazing cathedral. You have to go to that place. As well as Cadiz, which is a seaside gem that is just gorgeous to be around, and a lot to do in both of those cities. I probably want to spend a little bit more time in each of those cities, but I'm very, very thankful to at least have taken a day trip. Number 2 is the Alcázar. This is the true gem of the city. It has been a palace for a long time, as it housed the Moors and Christian kings and queens, and it has even hosts the current royal family whenever they're in town. They have a special room, and they live there. The complex is one incredible room after another, showcasing all kinds of very, very unique architecture. It has some amazing Moorish-style decorations, the arches, the columns, the ceilings. It's just an amazing thing. You have to see this for yourself. And of course, there's Baroque and Renaissance additions as well. It's a unique, awe-inspiring place, and the main reason why I chose to visit Seville. Number 1 is tapas. Now, I know I already mentioned food, but tapas isn't about necessarily what you eat, but how you eat. It's the recipes, it's the creativity, and it's also quite a social activity. Now, I've only been to Spain once, so I can't tell you where the best tapas is in the country, but I can tell you that it is amazing in Seville. What you want to do is walk a block or two away from the touristy places where you're going to find unique and delicious, not to mention a lot cheaper restaurants to try all of these exotic dishes. And it's relatively cheap in Seville. I'd try about 3 dishes and a glass of wine and usually walk away only paying €20. But seriously, if it's your first time there, take a food tour, take a tapas tour. It's an amazing way to get introduced to a lot of exotic dishes, and it will allow you to find some of the best restaurants available. I personally love how tapas just lends itself to creativity and all of those fun exotic dishes. And one of the best things I did while I was in Seville was to take some time, go to some of these tapas bars, and maybe look a few pages in on the menu to find the real exotic stuff. But of course, you have to try some of the fan favorites as well. But even if you don't like some of the more exotic dishes, I hope that you're going to have a little bit of fun trying it anyway. So that's it. Those are my 10 favorite things about Seville. And I'll tell you, it's an amazing place, and I can't wait to get back one day. And I think you should visit as well. So until next time, adios. Good night, everyone.